Welcome to Around the Weird. Here's your host, the museum curator of the strange and unusual, Mr. Nothing.
Thank you, mysterious voice, and welcome back to Around the Weird, a booktube channel where I talk about all the unusual and out of the ordinary literature that I found in my travels. Today it is Poetry Thursday, so I wanted to talk about an interesting poem, one that is about the promise of a better tomorrow. I am referring to American Rhapsody by Kenneth. For those who don't know, Kenneth is a American writer who lived in the 1900s. He primarily wrote poems, but he wrote a number of books as well. He's been described as a proletarian poet, poet of the people, writing about America and its many underlying problems and money and those kinds of things, critiquing capitalism as many similar writers have done so in the past. And it seems like initially he wasn't really well regarded, but after his death, he may have gained a little bit more notoriety there. This is my first encounter with his work, but I would be very interested in checking out maybe some more of his poems or even one of his books down the road. But without further ado, let's talk about American Rhapsody. I will read it, do a little bit of analysis, and we will move on from there. American Rhapsody. Tomorrow, yes, tomorrow there will suddenly be new success, like Easter clothes and a strange and different fate, and bona fide life will arrive at last, stepping from a non-stop plane with silver wings and chromium doors and a straight, white, staring light. There will be the sound of silvery thunder again to drown the insane silence. A new tremendous sound will shatter the final unspoken question and stifle the last mute, terrible reply. Rockets, Roman candles, flares will burst in every corner of the night to veil with snakes of silvery fire the nothingness that waits and waits. There will be a bright shimmering silver veil stretched everywhere tight to hide the terrible, terrible end of the world where people fall who are alone or dead. Sick or alone or poor, weak or mad or doomed or alone. Tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, surely we begin at last to live with lots and lots of laughter, solid silver laughter, with a few simple instructions and a bona fide guarantee. In terms of analysis, that was American Rhapsody. In terms of narrative, there doesn't seem to be a strict narrative, but rather a narrator is describing what will come tomorrow, initially proclaiming something great, but before maybe highlighting some terrible thing awaiting us all, and then doing another switch and saying it's going to be great. Where are their priorities, for sure? But there is a lot of hope in this poem, initially at least. The narrator says, tomorrow, yes, tomorrow there will be suddenly be new success, like Easter clothes and a strange and different fate, and a bona fide life will arrive at last. A huge promise right there, a bona fide life. And it's described as incredibly beautiful, stepping from a non-stop plane with silver wings and chromium doors and a straight white staring light. So, there does seem to be some hope, but as the poem goes on, there's a question of whether that hope will remain. And you see that when they say a new tremendous sound will shatter the final unspoken question and stifle the last mute, terrible reply. Silvery fire, the nothingness that awaits and waits, there will be a bright, shimmering silver veil stretched everywhere, tight to hide the terrible, terrible end of the world where people fall who are alone or dead. So if you're solitary here, there's going to be something horrible coming your way. A tremendous sound, like a huge burst, something awful and destructive potentially. So why tomorrow is there hope? That's a good question to ask, because certainly if there's something silvery and terrible coming our way, that's not going to be a very hopeful moment. And there's an even bigger question in the last verse where they say, tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, surely we begin at last to live with lots and lots of laughter, solid silver laughter with a few simple instructions and a bona fide guarantee. It's almost a bit ironic or like it's played sarcastically, because after what comes in the middle, how can you have bona fide laughter? It does say solid silver laughter, so maybe, all that horrible thing that is, all the horrible stuff that's happening in the middle of the poem, like maybe like we're still laughing, but we're laughing by being horribly changed as well. That's seemingly what this poem suggests, or maybe it's not. It's not being played, like it's meant to be ironic, like, yeah, tomorrow everything will be great after this horrible, terrifying thing happens to us right now. The poet is not being sincere in their claims there, which, it's not the first time someone would say that. And given that Kenneth Fearing was known for being somewhat of a proletarian realist, maybe he's acknowledging that a greater tomorrow will never come. And given that the name of the poem is titled American Rhapsody, maybe it's being a little down on America. It's portraying America as it really is, that there is no American dream, or the American dream is unattainable. That, like, people say tomorrow will be better, but will it be better? And after what happened to us today, like, doesn't matter if tomorrow's better. Can we overcome all these horrible things that have happened to us now? Anyway, those are my thoughts on American Rhapsody by Kenneth Fearing. A pretty interesting and very unfortunate, very tragic kind of tone of a poem, but like the way that it's structured particularly interests me, and that's why I chose it for today. So yeah, if you have anything to say about the poem, or you want to offer some feedback on my review here, let me know in the comments below. I would love to have a conversation with you about this. Otherwise, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that more people can find out about Poetry Thursday, this poem, or this poet if they don't already know. And until then, I wish you the best of luck in your weird and silvery travels. Farewell.